Good day, students. This is Sir Bryle. I'm your teacher under the College of Teacher Education. So for today's topic, we're going to focus on the subject Introduction to Linguistics. So the title itself says there that the grammar of sentences. So it is very important for us to know what are the things that we need to understand about the words, how they are structured, and how they do function in a sentence. So let's define first what is syntax. Just like in math, we say syntax. These are the things that we need to consider to form a word. In math, we use this in order to create a formula. Okay. So in this lesson, it covers the grammar of sentences and the very basics of syntax. So and also you are to build on the grammar of words. So what are the choices of words that we need to use in a specific context, and how do we use it in a sentence? So upon understanding syntax, we need to define it first. So when we say syntax, this one is a set of rules for constructing full sentences out of words and phrases. So in this area, we are to consider the parts of speeches. For example, what specific word were being used in this area and what specific word were being used in this one. There will be times that the word itself or the parts of speech will change. Sometimes a noun can be a verb, and sometimes a verb can transcend into an adjective. So that is the essence of syntax. So every language has a different set of syntactic rules, but all languages have some form of syntax. Just like in Filipino, we follow our own grammar. So we use different tools, we use different formulas or rules in order for us to know our syntax. So as we know the syntax, we must first discuss what's with a clause. Or in Filipino, this one is sugnay. So a clause is a group of related words containing a subject and a predicate. So as we all know, a sentence cannot work without a subject and without a predicate as well as with a verb. For example, he laughed. This one is already a clause and has already a complete sentence. So there will be times a clause may be considered as a complete sentence and there will be times it cannot be. So a clause refers to a group of related words. So within a sentence or itself as an independent sentence which has both subject and a predicate. There is some clause that has a subject and has a predicate, and it made the sentence complete. However, there are some clause that are already that has a subject and has a predicate. However, it is not totally complete. Like for example, I will meet him in office. This one is a complete sentence, and this is what we call an independent sentence or independent clause. So, and also, it may stand as a simple sentence or may join another clause to make a sentence. So, therefore, a sentence consists of one, two, or more clauses in a sentence. So, these are the following examples that we could get. So, he is sleeping. We only have one clause because it's one sentence only. So, the kids were laughing at the Joker. One clause. We only have two subjects. So the teacher asked a question, but no one answered. We have two clauses here because this one, but no one answered. It cannot stand alone as a sentence. So I am happy because I won a prize. These are two clauses because we have two concepts. The person is happy at the same because of the reason that he won the prize. Another one, I like mathematics, but my brother likes biology because he wants to become a doctor. So those are three clauses. Okay, so next. So let's proceed now to all the types of clauses. So it is divided into main clause, also called independent clause and subordinate clause. So the formula there, main clause is the independent clause and subordinate is the dependent clause. From the word itself, independent. This one it can stand alone as a sentence. However, in a dependent clause, it cannot stand. Like for example, when we speak to somebody else, there will be times people might get confused because they do not understand what we are saying. Like for example, you tell them that we will go to what comes next. When you arrive, what comes next? So there should have a strong clause in order for us to identify the correct thought of the sentence. For example, in a main sentence, it can be easily understood because it expresses a complete thought and can stand as as a sentence. For example, I met the boy who had helped me. The subject here is the boy, and the verb that we use is and the met. So this one makes the sentence complete because you will not think implicitly because the statement is already given. Second sentence, she is wearing a shirt which looks nice. So this one gives suggested already a complete sentence and the following sentences. So taking a look at this example, I never miss Samantha's class. So the subject here is I, the verb is miss. So the independent clause here is the whole sentence. Okay? So those are the following sentences. So as long as we can understand it explicitly, that is already an independent clause. So let's proceed now to subordinate or dependent clause. For example, this one, subject and verb. Somehow the sentence here is distorted because we do not understand what's with the concept. Yeah. Next one, yeah. In a subordinate or dependent clause, it does not express complete thought and depends on another clause. So that just like in this example, because I love to dance, who do you want to dance with? Or why do you love that dance? That is a dependent clause. You're gonna ask yourself, is this statement answering my question? Or is the sentence supported the sentence? Next one does not express complete idea and can't stand as a sentence. Basically. So a sentence having a subordinate clause must have a main clause or one independent clause. For example, okay, I met the boy who had helped me. So we cannot say if this one is already complete. Next one. I bought a table that cost $100. This one is an independent clause still. He takes medicine because he suffers from fever. For example, this one. He takes medicine is already an independent clause because he suffers from fever is the dependent clause that it cannot be completed without without the subject of this sentence. Next, the teacher asked a question but no one answered. In this sentence, the teacher asked the question is already a complete thought, and but no one answered is our dependent clause. So that's how we classify the types of clause. So in a subordinate clause, we also need to know or we need to consider its types. So in a subordinate or a dependent clause, we have three. The first one is a noun clause, adjective, and adverb. Okay. So in a noun clause, that functions as a noun in a sentence and is called a noun clause. So as we all know, noun they are naming of person, places, things, climax, and plot, etc. So it performs some function like a noun in a sentence. Like for example, what he did made a problem for his family. For example, this one is a dependent clause because it is not actually stated what is the problem in the society or in the sentence. So what he did a problem for his family, the noun clause there is what he did why. Because he is our subject or is our noun. For example, made a problem for his family. So what's in the sentence? Next, I am happy that you're going to the show. So the noun clause here as a sentence complement to the show. Let's take a look at another example. So noun clause starts with words. These are the formula. If you see the words or these words are pronounced or somehow words that can describe it, it is already a noun clause. So that, what, whatever, who, whom, whoever, whomever. So that signifies already that this sentence is a noun clause. So whatever you learn will help you in the future. So we can tell that whatever you learn is already our noun clause. So given the formula presented here in the sentence. So what you said made me laugh. So what you said is already our noun clause. Next, he knows that he will pass the test. So what is our formula again? He knows that he will pass the test is that the sentence, the noun clause or the noun, yes, noun clause here is that he will pass. Right? It could be that he will pass the test. Next, now I realize what he would have thought. So the noun clause here is now he would have thought. Okay. Next is an adjective clause. So the second type of subordinate clause. Also, it works like adjective in a sentence. As a review, when we say adjective, these are the words to describe or giving comparisons to a certain topic. So the function of an adjective is to modify or describe a noun or a pronoun. For example, he wears a shirt which looks nice. So let's take a look at these statements or these examples. So when you see these relative pronoun, that, who, whom, whose, which, or whose, they are under adjective clause. So for example, he wears a shirt which looks nice. So which looks nice is already our adjective clause that we can say in a subordinate or independent clause. So these are the formula. So there will be times you'll be confused if this one, who, that, and whom can be seen in a noun clause. However, try to notice if the base word can be functions as a verb or as a noun or as an adjective. In this area, which looks nice, looks is our adjective, looks nice is a verb, am nice is an adjective. So that made the sentence or the clause even more adjective. For different examples, I met the boy who had helped me. So I met the boy who had helped me is our adjective plus because of the word help. Next, an apple that smells bad is rotten. So that smells bad. Bad here is an adjective that made the sentence an adjective clause. So end the line. Okay, let's proceed now to the rule. A comma is always used before that. To adverb clause. So an adverb clause, like an adverb, it modifies a verb, adjective clause, or other adverb clause in a sentence. So as we all know, in syntax, when we use adverb, it could be in a manner of time, frequency, length, so and the like. So it modifies, describes the situation in main clause in terms of time, frequency, cause and effect, contrast, condition, intensity, and to what extent. So let's take a look on what is the formula to be used in an adverb clause. Okay, the subordinated conjunctions used for adverb clauses are as follows. So for time, so consider these words when, whenever, since, until, before, after, while, as, by the time, as soon as, in time. If it's in cause and effect, because, since, now, that, as long as, so, and so that. In contrast, although, even, whereas, while, though. In condition, if, unless, only if, whether or not, even if, providing or provided that in case. So like for example, don't go before he comes. Our adverb clause here is before he comes. And this one is under the adverb of time because before signifies time frame. Next, he takes medicine because he is ill. So our noun clause here is because he is ill, so under the cause and effect, because there is a concluding idea that supports the sentence. Next, although he tried a lot, he couldn't climb up the tree. So we can tell that that our adverb clause here is up the our adverb this although he tried a lot. So although is under a contrast because you are giving unlike comparisons. In condition, unless you study for the test, you can pass it. So unless you study is our conditional or adverb of condition. Okay. So noun phrase is similar as with the um, adjective clause. We say noun phrase. So a noun phrase contains a noun and other related words, usually modifiers and determiners. So let's take a look on the formula to be used. So noun plus modifiers is our noun phrase. So he is wearing a nice blue shirt. So he is our noun. Wearing a nice blue shirt is our modifier or our noun phrase. Also, a sentence can contain more noun phrases. So the girl with hazel eyes bought a beautiful car. So that is a noun phrase. There should have an object and as well as a subject. So in the first sentence, he is wearing a nice blue shirt. Our subject here or noun is he. Our object here is what is that? For example, an object, you will ask yourself, what is the specific thing that he wears? It's a nice blue shirt. That is our object. She brought a glass full of juice. Her object here is glass. So the boy with blonde hair is laughing. So let's take a look first in the verb. What is that about? So that's a subject, the boy with blonde hair. So let's proceed now to prepositional phrase. So when we say preposition, it gives a location to a noun, pronoun, and other parts of the sentence. In other parts of the sentence. So prepositional phrase possesses a preposition, object of preposition, could be a noun or pronoun, and may also consist of other modifiers. Like for example, on a table, near a wall, in the room, at the office, under a tree. So if you notice, if you pointed out a specific preposition, and then you see a subject, you see an object, that is already the prepositional phrase. So these are the prepositional phrase. Take a look at the example, another definition. So starts with a preposition and mostly ends with a noun or a pronoun. So you need to see first the preposition and then you will see a noun or a pronoun. So for example, a boy on the road is singing a song. For example, if it's an adjective, we need first to find out or we need to look where is the preposition first. So the preposition here is on. So as stated in the definition, it could end in a noun or pronoun. So on the road. Road is in this area, this one acts as a noun. So this one is correct. On the road. Next, the man in the room is our father. So this, the preposition here is in and the room. Next, she is shouting in a loud voice. Let's find out first the preposition in a loud voice. Loud is an adjective. So this one is an adjective phrase. At some point, he always treats in a good manner. In a good manner is our prepositional phrase. So let's proceed now to adjective phrase or the from the word itself, it describes something. So in this one, he is wearing a nice blue shirt. So let's first find the prepositional phrase. So so nice blue shirt. So the girl with blonde hair is singing a song. So it modifies the girl with the blonde hair. This one is our adjective phrase, girl with blonde hair. He gave me a glass of full juice. It modifies the glass of a glass of full juice. A boy from China won the race. So from China, so that modifies the boy. So in verb phrase, so this one is a combination main verb and its auxiliaries or helping verbs. So in a sentence, it's called a verb phrase. For example, he's eating an apple. So is eating is already our verb phrase. So according to generative grammar, a verb phrase can consist of main verbs and its auxiliaries, and its complements and other modifiers. So for example, you should prepare for your exam. So what is our verb phrase here? The verb phrase here is prepare for the exam. That is our verb phrase. Next, infinitive phrase. So the formula that we can use is to plus simple form of the verb. For example, to be able to earn money is a desire for everyone. She likes to read novels. As long as we use the formula to and simple form of the verb, that is under infinitive. So he shouted to inform people about fire. He made a plan to buy a flat because infinitive is used to signify purpose. Next, gerund phrase. The gerund phrase, some of us might be confused if this one has an ing, it will act as a verb because it has an ing, it is an ongoing action. But in gerund, this one acts as a noun. So a gerund phrase works as a noun in a sentence. So for example, I like writing good essays. Writing here is not a verb. However, this one acts as a noun. She started thinking about the future. Sleeping late night is not a good habit. Sleeping here is not a verb because this one is the manner of the sleep. Crying of a baby woke him up. So that's another example. So participle phrase, this one consists of a present participle, verb plus ing. So a past participle, verb ending in ed or other form in the case of irregular verbs. So this is what we call participle phrase. Sometimes you use this in past participle and in different areas of the tenses of the verb. Example, the kids making a noise need food. So that modifies the kids. So I received a letter mentioning about my job. So modifies the letter you received. The chair made of steel is too expensive. It modifies the table. Next, we saw a car damaged in an accident. It modifies a car being damaged. This one is our participle. It is the product of the action of the verb. You say absolute phrase, you say absolute total. So these are a group of words including a noun or pronoun and a participle as well as any associated modifiers is called absolute. Take a look on the given example. She looks sad, his face expressing worry. When you say absolute phrase, you will just add another information about what happened on the action in the verb. So looks at his face expressing worry. His face expressing worry is an absolute phrase because it give another function or it clearly give an emphasis that the person here is sad. She was waiting for her mother, her eyes on the clock. So to give an emphasis that she is waiting for her mother, this one is being used. Next, John is painting a wall, his shirt dirty with paint. There will be times we use it when we do conversations because we need to emphasize things. Like, for example, where we need to put hyperbolic statements in our sentences. That's why we can use absolute phrase. The rule here in grammar is that we need to pose the sentence at the same time we put commas in order for us to express it absolutely. So that's it for our lesson for today. We have discussed syntax, the functions of clause, and the phrases. Again, I'm Sir Bryle, the faculty under the College of Teacher Education. See you next time.